Hi, my name is Lindsay Demetris. I'm with the PHRA Social Media Committee. I'm here with Carolyn McKinney with People's Natural Gas. You just stepped off the podium doing your keynote speech for the 2015 PHRA conference. Very well done.
Thank you.
You were like a celebrity walking down the hall to get here, so people received it very well. First, I'd like you, for the folks that weren't able to join us today, to kind of sum up your presentation and tell us what it was all about.
Well, when I started to put together this presentation, what I really wanted to have is something that would be a practical guide for HR professionals. I've been in the profession for a long time. I've been in a situation where I didn't know quite where to turn or how to put a plan together. So I started with what every HR department should start with, which is what does a vision look like and how do you put together a vision that can guide HR in all of its decisions. I talked a little bit about HR competencies, both when it comes to HR professionals and leaders, and what I think is important in both integrating with the business and conducting HR work. And then I talked about how HR actually gets the job done and how they get their work accomplished through the organization.
That's great.
And hopefully we had a little bit of fun today too.
We did have some fun. It was very interactive. You told us about your background and how you made the jump into HR. It's a fascinating story. Can you tell us about it?
It's not a very traditional story. When I got into HR, which was more than 30 years ago, actually it was called personnel when I started. I didn't mention that today, and I actually was not targeting HR as a career. HR found me. I didn't find HR. I was a musical performance major at Carnegie Mellon University. I enjoyed that, but I really had no ambitions toward making music a career. Started to send out a few resumes because I needed a real job here in Pittsburgh, and I was fortunate enough to land a very entry-level HR benefits job. I enjoyed it. I pursued my master's in HR, and I've over the past 30 years, I've been with various companies, growing and evolving HR departments.
Wonderful. You made mention to the fact that you have 5 children.
I have 2 of my own, and I married a man that had 3 children, and 4 of the 5 lived with us full-time from 2000, so that's been about 15 years ago.
You're the real life Brady Bunch.
We didn't. We never had. I guess we are. There were 5, yeah. So we had. When we merged our families, we had 2 12-year-olds, 2 11-year-olds, and a 3-year-old. And today we have 2 27-year-olds, 2 25-year-olds, and an 18-year-old.
I'm always fascinated to understand how maybe raising children has positively impacted your role as an HR leader.
Organization and planning
yes.
are absolutely key with children in general, but then with both my husband and I having demanding careers. He actually went into his own business at one point in time, which helped us tremendously with the children. But children, managing children and managing employees in HR departments are not that far apart. So I don't know how other people did it. Certainly, my husband and I look back. We don't know how we actually got through raising these 5 children. But when it comes to how that translates to HR, I would say good people skills, good relationship building, and definitely organization and planning is a big part of it.
It makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. It also makes sense that you had kind of a blur in there.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot of it.
You talked a little bit about the concept of a credible activist, and it derived from a book. Am I right? The HR from outside in.
That's
Is that right?
That's right. I mean, I've certainly practiced it and believe fully in it. But mm-hmm. when I read the book from the HR it certainly did reinforce what I believe.
Can you tell us what that means for the folks that aren't familiar with that?
Credible activist. Yeah. So if you were to summarize it into a very short phrase, it's basically walk the talk. It's becoming part of the business. It's doing what we say that we will do, and it's about relationships and trust.
I love the line that you said, doing the things that we say we are going to do.
That's
it's
right.
Powerful.
Yeah,
it's powerful.
right.
You also talked a little bit about the concept for departmental culture, and it's called Safe Harbor.
Safe Harbor, yeah,
Safe
that's
Harbor.
one of my favorites.
Tell us what that means to you and your culture at People's Natural Gas.
It's really about trust, and Safe Harbor has become a little catchphrase in the People's HR department. It actually, as I mentioned in my speech, it was not, it didn't start with me. We have a great HR person named Robin Everett that's been with People's for a long time. Mm-hmm. She introduced the phrase Safe Harbor to me, and it really means that this is between us, and what we talk about here in HR, what we talk about in meetings, when we talk about an employee situation, it stays between us. It's also, to me, about trust when it comes to solving problems together. If a mistake happens, if one of my HR people wants to come in and discuss an issue, I think that they feel safe coming into my office. Even if they say, I made a mistake,
Mm-hmm.
that we solved the problem together.
As you touched a lot on when you were talking about some of the struggles and frustrations some underperforming HR leaders might have is developing trust and credibility.
Absolutely.
So connecting those dots and understanding, living a culture of safe harbor and having that I'm assuming it positively impacts everyone that you work with.
Right, so it can be outside of HR as well, and you're right, trust and relationship building and helping our internal customers solve their issues and problems is absolutely crucial to a high-functioning HR department.
Wonderful. It's a great line. It's really catchy. So a little personal here. We did a little bit of research ahead of time, and we understand that you might have a place in Deep Creek, Maryland.
Yeah, I saw this question in advance, and obviously you've been doing your research.
So we like to say we're good stalker. No, just kidding. I want to.
It is for rent, by the way, a place in Deep Creek.
I want to have a better understanding. You're very busy managing raising a family, leading a great and impactful life in leadership and HR. But how do you unplug? Is it Deep Creek? Is it
Deep Creek Lake is the place where I go to breathe. My husband and I go to breathe, and it's also, quite honestly, I've still got a very active HR career. I'll be in HR for a long time, but it's our future as well. We look at our place at Deep Creek, and it's a reward for how hard we've worked. But when I go there, I look at the beautiful lake, and I can breathe a bit. And I also do some pretty good work from our little place at Deep Creek Lake.
Oh, so you're still a little bit plugged in when
A
you're
little bit.
unplugged.
Always plugged in. Always
So,
plugged in.
Favorite time of year in Deep Creek? Winter,
This time of the year.
Yeah.
I love fall. We haven't been for a couple of months. We're going next weekend for the Autumn Leaf Festival there. I think it'll be absolutely beautiful.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Carolyn.
Thank you.
And if you missed her presentation, review this video because it was very powerful and there are a lot of really great takeaways. Thanks again.